Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
New Vraja, or Krishna Valley as it is also known, is a 250-hectare self-sufficient farm community south of Budapest, established by the Hare Krishna devotees in 1993. Located about 30 kilometers from the well-known Lake Balaton, Krishna Valley is a beautiful, natural environment where devotees practically display simple living, high thinking, one of the mottos of their society's founder, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The mission of the residents of Krishna Valley is to create a Varnashram society, that is, a society centered around the service of the Lord, in which the devotees may practice Krishna consciousness, living according to the principles of self-sufficiency, depending on the land and the cows, educating their children in spiritual life, all with the goal of attaining pure love of God and inspiring others to follow their examples. As society faces increasing pressures on rapidly dwindling resources, the devotees at New Vraja are establishing a template for sustainable living, which has at its heart the understanding that, as Gandhi put it, the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. By chanting Hare Krishna, the devotees are able to develop an inner peace and contentment that naturally reduces the artificial and spiraling demands that consumer society impels us to meet. They are demonstrating how to chant Hare Krishna and be happy.
My name's Tarun Krishna Das. My name used to be Tim. I'm from England. I moved here to Hungary 3.5 years ago. And this is my wife, Ati Sundri. She's from Russia. And she also came here 3.5 years ago to serve in a similar capacity as a pujari or a priest. I came in contact with Krishna consciousness when I was 20 in year 2000. I was living in London at that time. I was working and I was going to different appointments. I was working on Oxford Street, and one day one Hare Krishna devotee, he stopped me on the street and he gave me some books about Krishna. And I wasn't very enthusiastic. I didn't really want a book, but somehow or another I got one, I accepted one. And I looked at them a little bit and I knew where the temple was, just off Oxford Street next to Soho Square. So one time I went into the temple, and when I went in and met the devotees, then I just knew that this was what I was looking for.
My name's Lawrence. Now I'm 20 years old, and I've been living and coming to this Hare Krishna temple for 3 years. I'm focusing on distributing the Bhagavad Gita, which is very much the essence and the foundation of our philosophy.
I had a really good time as a monk in Soho Street. I was very happy there. Life as a monk is very focused. You spend your time reading about spiritual subject matters and giving that knowledge also to other people. Whether that may be going out on the street, singing and dancing, or distributing books, or giving classes. So it was very nice. I liked it very much. I was there for 7-8 years, and it's a very nice community. I feel when I think of my time there and think of the people who were helping me, I feel very indebted that they helped me to advance in spiritual life and take up spiritual life at that time.
Hare Krishna, my name is Amrita Gopadas. This is my good wife Priya and my daughter Somali. Actually, I first met the Hare Krishnas in my hometown, which is the Channel Islands, Jersey. And I came to London and I spent some time at the London Soho Temple. And then after that, I was looking for a pioneering project in England where there was some new Hare Krishna teachings going on, and some devotees were doing that in Brighton. So I went to see what it's like, and I very much liked it.
In 2011, the Brahmachari ashram, we traveled to New Vraja, which is in Hungary, which is a very beautiful and peaceful community set up by His Holiness Shiva Ram Swami. Just to make your life as simple as possible, just to accept only preferably only accept the necessities of life.
The farm is very unique actually, even worldwide in the Hare Krishna movement, to have such a large tract of land, about 500 acres they have, 150 devotees living there, and the aim is towards self-sufficiency. So they grow their own food, they have their own fruit and nut trees, they have their own wheat to make the flour, they have their own honey for the bees, and they make their own oil for lighting, rapeseed oil, and they use wood for fires. So it's really going back to nature. It's very beautiful compared to city life in Brighton, which is very fast and always a struggle for survival, where you enter into the Krishna Valley in Hungary, and it's such a liberating feeling.
My name is Vraja Das, and I live here in Krishna Valley for 8 years. And I'm the chairman of the Eco Valley Foundation and also the deputy mayor of the neighboring village.
The background of New Vraja Dhama is Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual master's vision, that we don't just want to have temples and city centres where we're teaching Krishna consciousness, but we want to also have self-sufficient farm communities where we show people actually how to live an ideal life.
We are completely off the grid, so there's no gas pipe coming in, no water pipe coming in, there's no electricity that's coming in. And we have electricity that is generated by solar panels or in some buildings generated by diesel generators. And of course that's not the most sustainable way, but at least we know exactly how much we use it and we know how to reduce it.
It's very rare in central London that you hear the singing of birds. You can't stop hearing them when you rush down. Yes, they're basically polar opposites. If you want to compare them, it's literally a juxtaposition. Vraja is very scenic, nice hills and greenery, nice trees.
Krishna Valley is fully self-sufficient in vegetables and fruits. That means 100%. We have 10 times more grain than we need. We have 7 times more honey than we need. And we have planted 380,000 trees in the last 19 years.
I've always been inspired by natural living, simple living. I used to work as organic farming, and our headquarters in Hertfordshire, I helped establish the organic farm there. So when I went to Hungary and I saw what Shiv Swami had done, that was really inspiring for me.
We have our own water system, we have our own wastewater system. That is a reed bed zone sewage system, and it works with zero chemicals, zero energy. It just operates by gravity and it works fine. So in this way we try to reduce our energy need and we try to reduce everything that's coming from outside the Krishna Valley. And in this way we could achieve quite a high level of self-sufficiency here in Krishna Valley, and we try to develop and try to adjust these elements in the neighboring villages so that we try to apply all these there. And of course it's not going to happen from one day to the other, but at least in the rural areas where we are and in the surroundings, we can teach people how to do agriculture, how important that is, how important it is to use renewable energy sources and resources, and in this way try to reduce the ecological footprint.
Just recently we've started our own project in Brighton, organic fruit and vegetable growing project. We've managed to take on a couple of allotments and one house in the suburbs. We've converted a 3-tier garden into a fruit and vegetable growing area with raised beds. So I'm really inspired in that area, and so many new devotees joining us in Brighton are coming out and are very inspired by that concept of self-sustainability.
A recent study said that Krishna Valley is the most sustainable village in whole Hungary, because the the eco-footprint measurement of this eco-village is only 1.4 hectares, and the biological capacity is 1.8 hectares. So that means that if everyone would live like the devotees are living here in Krishna Valley, then definitely we would be able to host around 11 billion people in the globe.
Everything's very spread apart in terms of the community and the housing. Very, each building is probably at least 50 meters from each other. If that, probably more actually. But in London, everything's just like crammed together as much as possible. It's just concrete. Everything's grey. You hear the roaring of the buses and the taxis and the cars and the screaming people at night, suffering. So yeah, it's quite a difference.
And it's very spiritual as well, the energy there, because so many devotees living together creates a very nice spiritual energy.
To live in harmony with nature means also to live in harmony with God. So if we're trying to become God conscious, then living in harmony with His creation is an important aspect of that. Also, these city temples are very good places for monks. But as we were saying, if somebody gets married, then it's good if there's a pure environment in which they can live that household life and also raise children in Krishna consciousness. My spiritual master saw that not everybody would remain a monk, but most Hare Krishnas would also get married and have a family. So he wanted to create a favorable environment for that next step.
Мы планируем остаться здесь, в Vraja. Идеальное место для семейных людей. Здесь есть школа для детей. У нас есть служение и община, у нас есть друзья. То есть мне очень нравится здесь находиться, здесь жить. И я на самом деле всех приглашаю сюда.
If you look at the history of the Krishna consciousness movement in the West, since the mid-60s, Initially, the first people who took shelter of Krishna consciousness through Srila Prabhupada, the founder of the movement, they would all live in the temples, so maybe 90% of the people were monks living in the temples. But recently, most people live outside now, most devotees are practicing outside, and it's a minority that actually live in the temple as monks. Some people might have the good fortune to receive some training in the temples, but family life is a natural thing. You know, often when we're young, to live as a monk can seem like the way to go, and it is very good for training. But at some point, any individuals realise to continue with their spiritual life, they need to go out into the world and raise a family. So that's what we're doing.
When I met Amrita Gopal Das, he wasn't initiated, but I knew that he had Krishna, God, in the centre of his life. And I think the world we live in is such a difficult place, and if you look around you and people's values, people give up really easily, and it's really easy just to give up anything. And I really wanted a family life that meant a commitment and involved God, and that helped make my decision really, and I'm sure for him as well. So really, spiritual life is crucial to marriage life because it allows you to stay married and live in peace, actually, or try to live in peace. And if you put God at the centre of your life, then hopefully, you can stay married, happily married, and provide a good foundation for your children.
We try to keep Krishna in the centre of our lives. So we try to make our house or our flat or wherever we may live like a temple, and it can be. We can install deities of Krishna or pictures and practice our spiritual life. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the most recent incarnation of Krishna, he said you don't have to change your occupation, just add Krishna consciousness to your life and your life will become perfect. So this chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, can be practiced anywhere, and we can all feel happiness and bliss, whether we're in a temple or in home life. I remember my friend. He gave me my beads, my first beads, and a nice picture of Radha Krishna. I had my picture of Jimi Hendrix on the wall. I had my picture of Bob Marley. And then I had a picture of Radha and Krishna. And I remember sitting on my bed and just looking at the picture of Radha and Krishna and trying to listen to, and chanting and trying to listen to the names, the syllables. And I immediately felt free from all anxieties and distresses. There's nothing to worry about.
And then after that, I read in The Science of Self-Realization, as Srila Prabhupada was saying, that the spirit soul is eternal by nature, and therefore is automatically, when you're on this level of consciousness, you're free from all anxieties. And I was thinking, I just experienced that, and I became so ecstatic. I just started dancing in my room, and I ran to my friend's house, and I thanked him, expressing my gratitude for him giving me this, or sharing this with me. So that's nice. By nature, we're all looking for pleasure, and in forgetfulness of Krishna, we're trying to find pleasures in so many things. There's so many examples. But by chanting, we are turning our face towards Krishna and begging him to please engage us in the service, so we can actually experience and taste this pleasure we're looking for, which really satisfies the self. All these other things, they don't satisfy us. They just complicate things more, create more anxiety, more disturbance. But if we connect to Krishna purely through his names, then we really experience something you never experienced before, or something you have experienced but you've forgotten. Yeah, I was trying to chant as much as possible, and in chanting it's very difficult to maintain a mood of really wanting to advance and please Krishna. It's very difficult to maintain that, especially when you have so many other material desires in your heart. So throughout the whole time in US Dhama, I was trying to just keep my mind fixed on wanting to just, chant properly and without any offense.
Spiritual life, it's not easy, I'll be honest, it's not easy, because it's easy to get entangled in this world. But when you really surrender and give up things, like I've given up drinking, I gave up eggs, I noticed a lot of changes when I started doing those things, and I felt really, really happy, and I felt very, very more in touch with my spiritual side. I'm not initiated, I'm not aspiring for anybody, not yet. I'm chanting, trying to chant, but I hope one day I reach that level too.
I was associating with the Hare Krishna devotees for about 12 years before I received initiation, because it's a serious thing as well. Initiation, there's vows that you take, no eating meat, no illicit sex outside of marriage, no gambling and no taking drugs or intoxicants, smoking, drinking alcohol like this. That's just considered clean living. And then on top of that, there's a vow to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. On beads, we have these beads. So there's 108 beads, and we chant the mantra on each bead and then move to the next bead. And when you chant the mantra 108 times, that's considered one round. You've gone around the beads once. And the vow is to chant 16 rounds a day, which takes about 2 hours.
A lot of people describe initiation as it's like a contract, it's like a marriage. And I think if I'm really sincere, I'm scared that I won't be able to live up to that commitment. So I don't want to go into it lightly. And yeah, that's the truth.
You don't want to take vows and then break vows. So I had to build myself to that point. But since initiation, well, one of the concepts of an initiation is the burning of your karma, which is really powerful, and I've actually experienced that since initiation. how light I feel. And Krishna consciousness teachings that we're not this body and we're accumulating good or negative reactions according to our actions. This is the meaning of karma, or as Jesus Christ would say, you reap what you sow. So you can build up these reactions over many lives as well as this life. And they can be binding, they can cause trouble to the mind, they can hold us back, guilty conscience, whatever it might be. But at the time of initiation, there's a sacrificial fire, and it said that all this karma is burnt in the fire at initiation. And that's one of the symbols, that's why it's symbolic with the giving of the new name, where your old name is dropped and then your new spiritual name, so it's like a new beginning. And then if you follow these vows, these four regulative principles, then you won't incur any more sins. So you can actually feel that lightness, like you're free, and you just follow those vows and you stay disentangled from the material world. And also Krishna consciousness teaches that we should try and live in the moment, that we shouldn't dwell on the future or think about the past too much, but we should be present and be focused on the now. And I very much was so at that time. When I was sitting there just for initiation, I was very focused, my mind wasn't going anywhere, it was really present. So the Guru is good like that. In their association, they help you be present and be aware of what's going on inside you as well. I just remember that Shivaram Swami was speaking, and there was a number of people there ready to receive initiation, also many guests. But as he was speaking, I felt like he was speaking to me personally. I felt that he was penetrating to the core of my heart. So it's like he could see through me all my anartas, all these unwanted desires that I had in my heart which had been holding me back. And he could see through all that, and it's his mercy that he's able to help release me from that. So it was very powerful, and it was quite intense. The name I was christened was Adrian, so Amrita Gopal is spiritual name. It's a name of Krishna, Krishna who's a cowherd boy who's made of sweetness. So I was very happy with that name.
Go